He's got a voice like solid gold and a twinkle in his eye. And keeping that eye firmly placed on our parliamentarian buddies is Tony Amos. We welcome Tony and the weekly political roundup.
Tony Amos.
Hello, Jared. How are you? Good to see you.
Very well. Look, I know it's a week ago. It's at least 8 days away, but back then, I'm still buzzing about the All Blacks. Whoa, what a great
What an outstanding game. What an outstanding game of rugby that was, wasn't it, eh? All Blacks, Springboks, by Jobs, it was this way, it was that way. It was one of the greatest games of rugby, it really was.
Did you get up and watch it, or did you watch it the next morning at 9 o'clock?
I did watch the replay, George.
Oh, you watched it and you didn't know the score?
I did not know the score. I watched it as if it was live.
Wow.
And it was a good result.
And Sonny Bill Williams did well. I thought that was a great game too.
In the Rugby League, that was a good grand final too. That was a great game. A particularly great game because Manly got beaten. Yes.
And what do you think about the fact that he has said yes to playing in the World Cup for New Zealand, the Kiwis?
Let's wait and see, Jared. Let's wait and see if he gets in, who gets dropped, if he has to get in, because the squad's been announced already, so we'll just wait and see.
Now, Tony, this is not the sports show, it's politics.
Yes, Jared, our weekly look at the oddballs and misfits, the gots and the twats, the sooks and the crooks, those rooters and looters of public office we proudly call our politicians.
They're like bees in a beehive. They never stop.
Well, they have a beehive, don't they?
Yes, they do.
We just wonder who the queen bee is, of course. Several lay claim to it, of course, but there can only be one. Anyway, things have been busy, though.
Yeah.
Not so busy in Parliament for the Prime Minister. He's been in and out of the country. In and out, in and out, in and out.
Does he ever come home?
Well, only to feed the cat. This time he's away. He's been away in Bali. Yes, why has he been in Bali? Well, APEC. APEC have had their big conference in Bali, and of course the President of China's been there, and John Key's been doing a bit of smooching with the President of China because of the Fonterra thing. China's war on Fonterra will not go away, not at the moment, so John Key's doing a bit of patch-up work there, and of course he also chaired the negotiations committee meeting of the 12 members of the TPP negotiations. No Obama, that was the big word. The headline was No Obama, because that's why John Key was chairing it. President Obama was meant to chair it because he's not there. Why is he not there? Because there's a fiscal blockade happening at home for the Americans. The Republicans have blocked his budget. There's no government funding. There's no money available. None at all. No government spending. They couldn't afford the jet fuel to fly the president to Bali. Isn't that so embarrassing for Uncle Sam? What a tragedy. But I've got to say about John Key and Bali, nice shirt, John. Yeah, one size fits all, apparently. Yeah. And if they look attractive, they're sent back. They're like the shirts that your grand aunt once gave you that you only ever wear, if you do, when she comes around. When she visits, you might put on. Otherwise, it stays right in the back of the wardrobe, you know.
Tony, your thoughts on the local body elections?
The local body shoddy elections. Jared, what a funny circumstance, eh? Yeah. Less and less interest in our local body elections. And all the pundits and all the experts are trying to work out why. Why is there less interest in local body elections? Well, numbers of reasons, of course. One of them, I believe, is the disengagement of councils with their communities. The best example of that is in Auckland, where they had the big blue about mowing the booms or the grass verges. That was disengagement. Council not understanding what the constituents want and need from council. Council not listening. The other issue, of course, is the super city factor. Auckland was bullied into a super city. Auckland didn't choose that. It was bullied into it by central government. And now, of course, the other regions are looking at being super cityised as well. And I don't think people are engaged or want that. So
it's got too big for a person to feel as though they can have some effect.
What does my vote count? That's what's happened. You know, what does it matter what I vote for when the council pays people $13.40 an hour to be cleaners, but pays its CEO $800,000 a year? You know, these are all the issues that people are concerned about. And it trickles out in many different forms. So, Jared, in a nutshell, the local body election result is another great Kiwi day where apathy lost and mediocrity won. Democracy? What democracy?
Bubbling away in the background, Tony, privacy.
Privacy. What privacy, Jared? Where is privacy? What does that word privacy mean? It's a bit like democracy. What do these words mean? privacy is losing its place in our world. I mean, it's losing its place anyway because we're busy, we're involved, there's people around watching every move we make, texting or emailing or twerking or tweeting or twatting it, whatever you do, somebody's got to be watching it. And of course, the questions have been raised about this current government and its security on personal information. I mean, we've got ACC, IRD, the Earthquake Commission, WINS, all these different organisations have accidentally released personal information out into the ether, out for other people to see. So how safe is our information with governments? And the obvious answer is not very, of course. The privacy horse has already bolted, or tweeted, or twerked. Who knows? But it is an issue that we should be aware. We can't do anything about it, but we need to be aware of it. Jared, I think you and I will sit down and just have a private conversation about it.
There's no such thing as privacy left, Tony, but we've got our wonderful list MPs in Wellington. We've got them left.
We do have the list MPs, Jared. Very important people. You just ask one of them. I mean, nobody voted for them, but they are there. What to do? To provide us with good stories. This particular story is about 3 list MPs who were, as luck would have it, stuck in a bar in Parliament, having a bit of a chat. 3 of them, doing a little round, and 2 of them are fervently talking about their wives and the control they have over their wives and how they do control their wives, and the 3rd fellow was just sitting there quietly. And after quite some time, one of the other 2 talking about their wives turned to the quiet one and said, "Tell me, what sort of control do you have over your wife?" And the 3rd list MP, he was a bit stunned. He was a bit shocked, if you like, suddenly hit with the question. And then he said, "You will be interested to know that just the other night my wife came to me on her hands and knees." Ooh. And the other 2 list MPs said, "Wow! And what happened next?" He said, "She leant down and said, 'Get out from under the bed and fight like a real man.'" That's politics.